3. We're back. I like this hook. You got a book you want to tell us about? Well, let's talk. There's no other place to do it. Only on Catch Da Craze. Catch Da Craze. Welcome to Catch Da Craze podcast audio mix. I am your host with the most, CF the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with none other than
George Medina.
George Medina.
There you go, baby.
George Medina.
You gotta make a beat out of that,
Yes,
man.
I do. What up, George?
Chilling, brother, chilling. I see you have the red on for the,
the red. Merry Christmas.
special. I don't have anything red
Yeah, I know.
in my wardrobe,
I know.
so I'm not a big fan of red. But
yeah.
you're festive.
I'm festive, right? Merry Christmas. Merry.
What do you? So,
Huh?
now this show is gonna air on the 27th. That's Friday after Christmas.
Yes.
So you will be hanging out with your boys on
Hanging with the
Christmas
homeboys.
Eve, right?
Yeah, hanging with the homeboys.
That's good. I'll be in Chicago on Christmas.
Chicago.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
What are you doing in Chicago?
Well, my girlfriend's from Chicago. Well, she's not from Chicago. Her parents live in Chicago. She's actually.
Hold on. So you ladies out there, I know your hearts are broken.
Nah.
The dreamer.
Nah, that's been over for years.
The dreamer
that
is
ship
off the market.
sailed. You know that I've been
dreamer.
listen, we haven't seen each other in 10 years.
Yeah,
A lot has happened.
I know.
A lot has happened.
The
So
dreamer I
we
knew
need to. Yeah,
was
we.
like Romeo.
No.
Yes, I mean he had
That's another life,
like a
bro.
flock of geese.
Oh,
It's like, ah!
come on now.
It was crazy.
That's crazy. But yeah, no, she's not from Chicago. Her family lives in Chicago. She's
Right.
originally actually from England. Her family moved here back in 2000 to New York, well, to Westchester County, and then recently they moved out to Chicago. So we spend our Christmases out there. It's fun.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Chicago's nice. It's a nice town. When I go out there, we did we do this. We don't do it all the time. I did the architectural tour. You get on the boat down the river and they start telling you about all the buildings and all the history of Chicago. It's very interesting. You should definitely take a trip out there. It's nice.
Over the
I mean, we
river
did.
to
Remember
the
that one
woods.
time we went out there to the what was it?
We went downtown. We went to Wizard World,
It was Wizard World, Chicago.
and then we
yes.
went downtown.
Yeah.
And what did we do downtown? We went
I think
to
we went
eat.
to Uno's. I think.
Yeah,
'Cause
went
of
to eat.
Chicago's like
Yeah.
We were young. There's so many things out there, bro. There's so many things.
Young
But yeah,
and
no,
impressionable.
you should definitely take a trip out there again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So it will be fun. I'm sure.
Right.
Family's real nice, so it'll be fun. I love Christmas, bro. Christmas is my favorite holiday, so I can't wait. What are you looking?
I'm looking at the.
I got okay. You do
Yes.
that, but I got some information here for the peoples
Oh, for
out
the
there as well.
peoples.
Yeah. Because I know you have
the People's Choice
yeah. Because we were talking about 2020 conventions,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So go ahead. I'll let you.
I was just looking up at our calendar.
throw it out there.
So we're coming to a close of 2019.
Yep.
2019 was the rebirth of Catch Da Craze. 2019 saw the reuniting of New Edition.
So who are you now? This was New
I'm Ralph
Edition.
Tresvat.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, I figured you'd say Bobby or something.
Candy Girl.
Okay. Carry on. Carry on.
I'm Bobby when I have to be. I think I'm a mixer of all of them. But anyway, hey, I got the what do I got? What kind of hat I got? I got Yankee. I got the
Yankee
red hat.
hat.
You got the blue hat.
Oh,
Look at
nice.
Look
See
at
that?
See that?
We're like
I'm in the New
coordinating.
York state of mind. Yes, coordinate.
Coordinate.
So yeah. So the bringing together of Twin Peaks and and 2020. There's a lot of conventions coming down the pike. So we've been to a lot of conventions throughout our tenure.
Oh yeah.
And
Tons.
what conventions stick out to you?
Okay, from the time when we were doing conventions, I think one of my favorite conventions
Right.
was Emerald City.
Emerald City, that was in Washington, right?
Yeah, Emerald City was one of my favorite trips
Seattle,
as
Washington.
a whole. Seattle.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
It was one of my favorite as a whole. Like, I don't know, the whole experience, seeing what the West Coast outside of San Diego, because we did San Diego too, and obviously that probably would have been the choice, right? Or San
Right.
Diego Comic Con.
Yes.
But Emerald City really I had a great time in Emerald City, and yeah, that's one of my favorites. That one sticks out the most. What about you? What's yours?
I loved the location for Emerald City. It was just fun. Even going out,
Yeah,
sightseeing. I mean, it was fun. I loved
it was. Yeah,
the artsy feel.
yeah, it was
Um,
great.
That was, I think, but I think I still love the grassroots Big Apple Con.
Oh, Big Apple Con, of course. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where it all started. And so for me, it's like it sits close to home. I mean,
yeah.
I enjoyed it because we were so close to the fans.
Which one? Because there's been like different incarnations of that place. So, do you like the one at the Penn Plaza Hotel, or do you like the other one, the one
It was the New Yorker.
at the New Yorker? I think there was. Yeah, they did it at New Yorker.
There's
So
a Penn
which one?
Plaza.
Which one?
I liked the Penn Plaza.
Yeah, I like the Penn Plaza.
The reason why, number one, I felt like there was a close knit community at the Big Apple, where I think the bigger shows, you're really not networking with your peers in the industry. But at Big Apple, we got to network with the likes of Brian Polito, Angel Medina, just a lot of creatives in the market that we wouldn't get to at the bigger shows because they're so busy. Not only that, we were able to touch the fans, and we made a lot of friends.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think that
that was fun.
in itself,
Yeah. I definitely. I mean, as far as, and I know that for an independent who wants to go out and go to a show and get their product out, a lot of it is, I think it's about a numbers game.
Yeah.
And I say that because if nobody knows who you are and you go to a convention that doesn't attract too many people, the chances of, yeah, sure, you're probably going to sell books, but do you want to sell books, or do you want to get maybe be able to network with somebody who's going to take you to the next level?
right?
And I think that you can do both at a big convention.
Right.
Something that you can only get at a small convention, you're only going to get one thing, right? Which is just maybe exposure to a local market, to people, locally and stuff. And which is that's
Right.
great, because that's where you build your fan base. But I think if you want to take it to the next level, I think you have to go into the bigger conventions. And people may disagree. They may say, yeah, well, I see it the other way. But I don't know. I think there's strength in numbers. And I think when you go to a big convention, you're bound to get the numbers.
I think what was unique about the time that we were there, I think we felt selling books was a secondary component. And I think for us, it was getting notice and networking was the primary focus. You know what I mean? So
I think we went into it with an understanding that we're not going to make money at these
Right.
conventions. We're
Right.
just trying to get exposure.
but there was this false. We got this. I think our first show. The response was overwhelming, that we felt like, and I know I felt like, I was like, oh, we are the Shiznits. So there was this false impression that it was sustainable. I just felt that, when you look back at it now, that first show was so successful and where we caught everybody's attention is because we were color.
Mm-hmm.
We were these little guys nobody ever heard of, and we were packaged right? And we had the logos, we had colored books, and it was like, how are these guys affording that stuff?
Well, yeah, no, that is true. That is
Right?
true.
Remember-
At that time, yeah, it was something that was ahead of the time. 'Cause
Yes.
an independent comic, we had
And glossy color.
we had
The stock was great.
Gary Camp, who was on the show
Yes.
earlier in the month, and he was talking about how back in the 90s they were going to Kinko's, stapling books together, putting them together, and selling them out.
Dude, that was us.
That was
Sticking into crates.
no doubt, but they were doing it in black and white.
Right.
It wasn't something. Whereas we were coming into the game for the first time, dude. We printed out like 500 books, thinking, "Yo, we're about to kill this thing."
Weird.
And we were still stapling our own books at the time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even like we had a printing press. We printed these things out, 500 copies, and we still had some of those copies, that haven't even been folded.
Yes.
And that's what we were selling.
Yes.
And people were like, "What color?
Yes.
Independence with color?" And we had the gusto. We were greeting people, come to the table, check this out. We're coming out with a cartoon. Like, we were hungry.
Yes.
We were hungry. And the more you do these things, it starts beating you down, because it was great. the first show, amazing, and we kept it. I think we try to keep it.
It felt like
you had
work
to.
after a while.
After a while, it felt like we were going to work.
And I think a lot of it was because I was in beast mode.
Yeah.
And it was just about press, right? Getting notoriety, getting press.
Yeah.
And so, and it's like I was creating this timeline that was unachievable in a sense. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I was creating this calendar of like, gotta get on this show. We gotta do this. We gotta do that.
Which is the right mindset to have if you have the budget to do it.
Yes, if you have
or
the
if
resources,
you budget your way to, or if you find a way to do it, but you have to budget right. It can't come out of your pocket. Not everything can come out of your pocket, and that's what's killing.
That's what killed it.
That's what's killing.
Because if we had that investor,
right,
right, where we can just say, all right, we have this finance person, you take care of this, and we hit the road.
Right.
We're New Edition, right? So, yeah.
You guys are the talent. We'll take care of this inside.
Right.
You know, and wait, before we get cut off, on the show today, we're going to have...
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, we're going to have a young lady by the name of Vanessa Verduga. She's a comic book writer.
I didn't know that.
I think she still has a web series called Justice Woman. She's a playwright. She's a lawyer. She's a singer. Dude, dang. She's incredible. So she'll be on in a few. She's going to call us in a few minutes. So if we get cut off, it's because, we told her to call at a certain time. But no, yeah. So going back to our conversation. Yeah, you're right, man. Like it was beast mode. It was let's get out there and do what we got to do.
Right.
And, the fun's running out after a while. And you're right. It does become like work. And, things happen. Like, dude, if there was like an E True Hollywood story of crazy comics, it would be crazy. Like it would be, there would be so much, like the pitfalls and the good times, the bad times. And yeah, it's,
it was a great time to have fun. We were having fun. We were exploring. We were learning. We were growing. We were knuckleheads. It's like I thought it was just a all around good time.
Yeah, no, and we definitely had different people come in and out of the group. Like we always had, somebody would leave and then we'd have somebody else come in and we all, for the most part, I think we all got along.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you have to when you're traveling like this. Like if you're gonna do work with somebody, you have to have similar goals. And I think that truth be told, I think that's what happened with Crazy Comics, right? Goals changed.
Yep.
And mindsets changed. Yep. And okay, now I want to do this. And that's when, the splits happen.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. Mm-hmm. People don't want the same thing. They're just going to split apart. Yeah. And I think that's what happens. And I think that's something that when you're an independent artist or when you're an independent creator and you're working with other people, you got to keep that in mind. And I'm not talking about the old school cats because the old school cats know what they're doing. I'm talking about the new guys who are coming into the game for the first time, who want to do this. It's fun, but you gotta be mindful of what you're getting yourself into.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the time off, great learning experience. Mm-hmm. And then going back to thinking about 2020, what is the reasonable road to progression? What are the next steps that make sense?
Right.
Because at the same time, look, we both work. We both have books, and we have the show, right? So how do we find a fine balance? How do we make sure that we give the three things the same amount of energy?
And if you want to add the four things, because we're both in serious relationships, so you have to mix, throw that into the mix.
Yes, I'm gonna get smacked up for that one. Yes. It's like
yeah, don't show her this one.
No.
No, yeah, but I think that you're right. You have to be able to balance it.
Yes.
You have to be able to, just like we were talking about budgeting. This is also something that you have to be able to budget that time correctly until it's ready to go. What's the matter?
No, I felt this vibrate.
Maybe that's your phone.
Maybe.
Where's your other one? Don't you have two? You're a pimp.
Huh?
Where's the other one? That's the one?
That's the other one. Yes, I got.
Oh, you got two.
I got a couple.
Damn, kid, you big time.
This is how we do it.
Oh God. Yeah. So
So what conventions you were talking about? So Emerald City Comic Con, I thought it was good. Big Apple Grassroots for me has always
Yeah.
been I've always enjoyed San Diego.
Yeah, of course.
Really for
The weather.
the camaraderie.
Oh, okay.
It was really for because it was work. San Diego.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's work. Yes, you're at the table all damn day. You can't go out and see this. You know,
It's work. I think part of you're right. And part of that I think is it's work because you have so much invested
yes.
in a trip to San Diego because you're flying across the country.
Yep.
You're paying for this table. It's not easy to get into that show. Not it wasn't then. It's even harder now.
Mm-hmm.
But so you're in a show that it's hard to get into. So you spent all that money. You're traveling with. It's not like you're traveling. We put that on the plane, and we were traveling. It's not like we're shipping this stuff.
No.
There was no money for that.
No.
So now it's like we have to. Something's got to come out of this.
Yes.
We're not coming out here for nothing. So that's the part of it that becomes work. I think.
Yes.
You know.
So I think that for me, what I enjoyed about San Diego was hanging out with the guys, the chatting, the after parties, you know, the fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed the fans, you know, making new fans. But you know, because it's 5 days, and you know, after like the third day, it's the grind. But I think what are the Comic Con that I really enjoyed? We did Baltimore.
I like Philly.
We did Philly. We did Baltimore. We did Pittsburgh.
You know
we
what
did
I
Chicago.
like? You know what I liked about Philly Comic Con? That what stands out? Not only the trip to Frazetta's house, but also we got to see the gentleman who died of cancer.
Frank Frazetta.
No, the young artist from Aspen. What's his name?
Oh, Michael Turner. Yes.
We got to see Michael Turner live up at a panel in these little small, you know, it wasn't even a convention. It was a hotel. So it's one of these little hotel not rooms, but like little, you know, places that they have set up. And it was very intimate. And he's up there. He's talking about, you know, coming up in the business, and he's drawing. And that was a great experience.
Yes.
You know, as a fan, as a comic book fan, you're like, wow. And, you know, and that was, so I enjoyed that because at the time we were trying to learn the business.
What I enjoyed when we would go to the shows, because you know we didn't have national distribution, but here we go.
Oh, there she is.
So let's go to commercial.
Listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Vanessa.
Hey.
What's going on? How you doing?
How are you? Good.
I'm good. I'm sitting here with a very good friend of mine, Sam Vera. He's the host of the Catch the Craze podcast show that you're on right now.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, thank you for being on.
Here.
Nah, it's great. I've been wanting to talk to you about all of the things that have happened since the last time we saw each other. You've really just.
Oh my God.
Yes, I was telling.
Years, has it?
Well, it has. But I was telling Sam how you are a writer. You have a web series. You did a comic book. You did a play. You're a lawyer. You're a singer, songwriter. Like you do so many things. So there's like so many things to talk about in the next half hour, and I don't even know we'll have enough time to do it. So I'm just gonna.
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna jump right into it. So tell me a little bit about where you grew up, your upbringing, and what inspired you to go on this path of an artist. You know, whether it's writer, yeah. So let's start there.
Well, I was born in Los Angeles, California. I grew up in the Bronx. My parents are from Ecuador, So, so that's my upbringing. I'm Latina.
Mhm.
And the thing is that growing up in the Bronx, it's like you have that. It almost felt like having this growing up insulated from the rest of the world. So there's its own little world right there. So I kind of like I felt like that's where I flourished. That's where I got my butt kicked, and I kicked some butt.
Right.
Because it's the Bronx. You got to
Right.
kind of like it's all about respect.
What
So
part of the
that
Bronx?
pretty much 171st in Sheridan. That's right across the street from Taft High School
Yeah.
near Grand Concourse.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's I mean, ever since I was a kid, it's like I was always attracted to like musicals and I would sing. My mom was the one who got me started on singing when I was like 3 years old. Like what she would do is
Wow.
just like make me sing all her female empowerment songs. That's another thing that influenced my perspective on everything. It's like all about female empowerment.
Right.
so
That's amazing.
so so I started with that. It was something that she did back in Ecuador. My she was a dancer and a singer herself when she was
Wow.
a kid. Of course, when my grandmother's wish was for her to like continue on and become this artist, but my mom kind of grew out of it,
Mhm.
and she thought that I was going to grow out of it as well, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I felt like and for the longest I was kind of I grew up like not knowing, well, if I can't be in what I want to be, if I can't be an actor, a singer, and flourish in the arts and really have a career in that, then I think I'm going to go and just bury myself in school and figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life.
Right.
So I was pretty much lost, but I felt like my voice had been stifled. And you got to understand that it's like coming from an immigrant background. My mom was born and raised in Ecuador. Coming over here to the United States, it's kind of like it's still that. Hey, you know what? We're in. We still have to work. We have to work harder than your average American because we got to prove to them that we
Right.
are worthy. That we didn't come here to ask for no handouts. That we're
Right.
it's all these things that get ingrained in your
And,
head.
and the language barrier, right? So your mom came here not knowing a lick of English, I'm sure, and she had to learn that.
Right.
And then she had to,
You have to learn all of that.
and then she had to teach you Spanish and make you proud of your heritage, but at the same time, make sure that you weren't ashamed of the fact that you could speak Spanish in a country that only spoke English.
Right. That
Right.
was the whole thing. And that's what goes back to like me feeling like I was in a bubble
Right.
in the Bronx
Right.
because it's like a community. It's like I grew up with African Americans and with Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. And so it's kind of like, it's a bubble. You don't really experience a whole bunch of other things. Not until you not until I went to Baruch College in the
Right.
city in Manhattan.
Mhm.
But I started to realize and I started to get the microaggressions
Right.
like of oh wait, you're a Latina, you're a minority. Of course they would talk people would talk down to me and I was like,
Right.
wow. And I never understood that. I mean I never better said I understood it from a concept, from a theory, because my mom would tell me like you gotta prepare yourself, you have to succeed with education. You cannot afford to have these artsy dreams
Oh, wow.
because you need to prove to people that you are better than what they think of you. And I didn't get what it was. Definitely racism and the bigotry
Right.
that exists
Yeah.
in this country.
Right.
And it wasn't until it didn't hit me until I was in Baruch College, a business college, trying to find my way in that world,
Yeah.
in that corporate, finance and business. And I was like, oh my God, but I want to be artsy. So I ended up doing computer information systems. But it was a lot of things. So and feeling stifled, and I think it was from being repressed for so many years and not being able to follow my dreams
Right.
that I just all of a sudden when I decided that's it, I'm gonna do it. It's like I just something happened, something clicked in me, and all of a sudden everything started coming out. Everything that I thought that I would always wish, and I was like, man, I wish I was creative. Man, I wish I didn't. I constantly kept doubting myself.
Right. Well, yeah, I
And
mean,
it wasn't
I'm sure it
until-
was something that was ingrained. Like you grew up with that, and so you were like, where am I
Right.
going from here?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look, no, we're Latinos. We can't afford to be doing this artsy stuff. That's for white people. You gotta you gotta work and you gotta prove it, you know. And it's that mentality. So, pero it was kind of, what happened with me was that I always kept that desire to sing and everything. So when I started law school, I joined a theater group, and I kind of sang a little bit in the a cappella group. I mean, my law school was not just traditional law school. I went to Seton Hall in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And there were like a lot of activities for the students, and that was cool. But and I was like, I didn't leave the arts. But when I graduated law school, I was like, I want to do it. I want to be a lawyer.
Oh my God. So wait, so you went to Baruch, and then you went to Seton Hall, and I guess you
and then I went to Seton Hall.
And then you were like, you know what, I got to make money. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to go into law school.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. And this is what's going to make me the money to be able to afford what I really want to do, which is my dream.
Exactly.
Right. So that was the plan. It was like a means to an end. It was like.
It was exactly.
Gotcha.
And it was a plan, and it was everything. But then you know what happened? All of that kind of went away when and I was like, I thought I was on top of my game. Like, yeah, I bought a condo. I was like, no, I'm gonna get, and then I bought 2 condos, and I was renting one, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this because I'm gonna live off these real estate things.
Right.
And then the market crashed.
Oh man.
And I had tenants who weren't paying their rent because they had no work.
Right.
And I found myself not having, work either. I was like, what the hell? And then I ended up getting I was so stressed. I would lose my hair. I would, I even got a lump in my breast that I had to get removed.
Oh.
Thank God it was benign.
Right.
But it was all of this. And that was a turning point that I was like, you know what? I've been doing all of this trying to set myself up to live the artist life.
Right.
And I'm not really living it. And I've got nothing to show for it. I could have cancer and I could die, and I would still not be the artist I want to be.
Wow. So that really just opened up your eyes and said, you know what, I can do what I can do what I hate for the rest of my life, or I can follow my dream and do what I love. And that's when you went into is that when you created Justice Woman?
That's when I created Justice Woman. Because I felt like I went through hell and back.
Right.
There were so many things that happened. I mean, on a professional level, so many things that I was like, oh my God, if it weren't because I'm a woman and I'm Latina, I don't think this would be happening to me.
Wow.
But you know what? It made me stronger, and it gave me the voice that I needed through Justice Woman. Because I was still a coward, and I was still it wasn't until Justice Woman and seeing the success of Justice Woman that I started, and being able to embody that character, that I started coming out of my shell and feeling more comfortable and confident in my abilities and who I was.
Do you talk about some of the things that you encountered, some of the bad experiences that you encountered? Do you talk about that in the show, Justice Woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Justice Woman, or as Vanessa the
well, both.
The regular woman trying.
So okay. So to clarify to the audience, tell us what Justice Woman is about, because they're probably thinking like, what the heck is Justice Woman? So Justice Woman is a character you created, right? And you made a web series out of her.
I made a web series out of her. Justice Woman was like my alter ego. She was a superhero because I've always loved comic books. I've loved superheroes and everything. And I grew up watching that Saturday morning cartoon with Justin and all that. So it was kind of like, especially at the moment when I hit rock bottom. It was my escape. It was my way of making myself, my alter ego, wanting to be the hero and coming above and rising above everything. But I also started to see a bunch of things that, that whole experience of living in Hoboken, trying to be an attorney in Hoboken, and trying to get involved in the politics of Hoboken.
Right.
And that's one of my things, is like seeing the levels of corruption.
Right.
And how it all, it permeates a whole government system. It pretty much turned my stomach.
It's so.
It was a combination of all of these things.
Right, but you were like in it, like you saw all of that, like you were kind of pervy to it because of your legal background. So you were able to inject a lot of that truth into your show. Now, how has it? Yeah. What has the response been to the show, as far as like maybe from people who were in that like higher level, have you had any backlash about it or?
Well, first, when I was trying to make it, I wasn't. People would be like, you know what? I don't think you're gonna have a Latina lead. Blah blah blah. What happened was that I was at the same time that I was writing the story and I was creating the character and I was envisioning the world and everything. I was going out as an actress because I did conservatory at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts for 2 years in the evening program.
Right.
So I was able to be an actress, and I was going out and getting auditions.
Right.
But many of the auditions was very disappointing. You know, it's like people want to box you and they want to like be like, oh, you're Latina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you read the role for
La
the
Chola,
prostitute or
La
the
Chola, right?
Yeah,
La Chola in the gang,
the drug addict.
yeah, right.
Exactly. And I'm like, I would be like, yo, I'm in real life. I'm an attorney.
Right.
And they would be like, yeah, but nobody would believe that.
Oh wow, straight up, huh?
So
Jeez.
it was all of that I was going through, and that's when I really started realizing, like, man, this world is fucked up.
Right.
And I put all of that into my character, and Justice Woman is this assistant district attorney by day who becomes this mass vigilante at night, and she just fights for justice, and she's faced with a corrupt system. Like, she works at the ADA's office, and she's like, fuck, her boss is corrupt, the judge is corrupt,
right.
There's all this thing happening, and she's got to battle all of this and throw her neck out on the line for this innocent man that she's trying to get out of jail.
Wow.
You know, so it's all about this, but it's all done, of course. This is the heavy undertones of the series, but it's very campy.
Right. Yeah, but it's fun. Like I watched a few episodes and it's a fun show. It's like, I don't know. It just brings you back almost like, and I don't think, I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong. It almost felt like I was watching, like Batman and Robin from back in the days. Like it was fun,
yes.
But with a grit. Like it was Batman and Robin with a grit. Like it was gritty.
Yes.
But it was fun at the same time.
It was a little more gritty.
Yes. Yes.
But it was just funny. It was those, it is that. It pays homage to Batman and Robin and the whole, because I mean, of course, she has her sidekick who's
right.
Robert. He's Robert during the day. He's her fellow assistant. He's her fellow assistant district attorney. He becomes Roberta at night.
Hysterical. It's that crazy. It's such a fun twist to it.
He puts on a dress and he feels powerful.
Yeah. How did you so was that all you, right? You didn't have like a co-writer or anything, like a co-creator. That was all you, right? That's all.
No, that was all me.
That's funny.
But again, this is where I was like, it was when you start to analyze and see the lack of justice, the injustice in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, this is when I came up with the character of Roberta. This was around the Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Right.
In the military.
Mm-hmm.
When people were like, oh, talking about how they, and that was what made me so angry, because somebody had made a quote. It's like, I don't know why so much fear about us just being us. It's not like this guy. It's not like I'm going to go out in the battlefield with heels and a dress,
right?
And fight the war.
Right.
Exactly. And I was like, you know what? Well, what if we do? It should be. I mean, we shouldn't even have to worry about this. It's so true. It's like, who the fuck cares?
Right.
If I'm battling and I'm willing to lose my life for my country or to save or protect my fellow, my fellow army mate or I don't know the names.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Then we should be able to do that. If you choose to do it, you should just be able to do it. Why should you not be able to do that?
We all believe the same. Yeah, right. Exactly. So, So it was that. It was all it was everything that I could. And I feel like, honestly, when I started writing Justice Woman it was at the change from 2009 to 2010.
Right.
And I started filming it in 2011, and then it aired October 4th, 2012.
Right.
But it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Compared to what everybody was like, wow. So people loved it. I feel like now people have kind of caught on to the whole, okay, so there's, the gender matters. I mean, I wrote it in a time where it was still taboo, especially in the legal field for a gay. Now it's become more acceptable.
Right.
It was also still taboo. They were like, I had people who would be like, I would read the script and I would try to get like directors
Right.
to help me direct it because I was just like, trying to pitch to them to put together uh, uh, a crew.
Right.
And they would be like, I don't know, this Latina lead, really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, wow,
Yeah. That's
so
sick, man.
right. So I was kind of like, I feel like, wow, I was faced with all of that. But that's good because now it's like I still have the final season of Just a Woman that has to come out.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
And that,
So how many
hmm
seasons did you film, or how many seasons is the show?
So we have 5 seasons.
Wow.
5 seasons? Yeah, yeah. We have 5 seasons. The 4 seasons are out. So the
Right.
final season is coming in 2020.
Good
And I
for
kind of want
you.
to like start the new year with that.
Good for you. That's
And
awesome. That's awesome. Have you spoke to any of the streaming services about the show?
well, what I did when I left after after the whole thing of like the shenanigans with my properties and everything in
Yeah.
Hoboken, and I decided to just up and I was like, you know what, let me short sell this shit because it's already going underwater
Right.
because everything was underwater during the economic crisis,
Hmm.
and I was like, I'm done. I closed shop in New York. I went to LA.
Right.
In LA, I had a production deal.
Mm.
LA is a town where it's all about smoke and mirrors, and a
Yeah.
lot of people like to tie you down to things, not because they're really going to give you the opportunity. It's more because they don't want somebody else to
Oh.
seize on that.
Wow.
And so it's that whole like, yeah, it's like I love it. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Blah, just sign on the dotted line.
Mm.
And then it's like when you're like, okay, well, I'm ready to get started. Oh yeah, yeah, sure. You can run around, and then it's like, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and just hire the people that you need and everything, and we'll reimburse you. I was like,
Wow.
like
They'll
no,
reimburse you. That doesn't
I
sound right.
know.
Something
I
fishy
was
about that.
like, yeah. So I waited for it. I was like, thank God this contract has a 1 year expiration. I don't need to renew it. So I sent that letter. I was like, I'm not renewing with you guys.
Right.
And then I went and I tried to make another deal with the Me Too network.
Hmm.
Um, and they also like, where are they now? It's like you remember Me Too
Yeah.
from back in the days when the YouTube partnerships and all that were
Right.
big.
Right.
And they kind of screwed me over. That was a bad deal. That's why I let Justice Woman kind of go dark
Right. I got
for
you.
for about a couple of years because I got into a 3 year contract with them,
Mm.
and it was they weren't, again, all of my revenues and marketing and everything were being taken from them and pooled
Mm.
to support other people who didn't have
Right.
the viewership that I had. And so I'm here like, wait a minute, I'm subsidizing all these other talking heads that don't have nobody watching them.
Right.
Like, 'cause, yeah. So that was the moment that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let this one go down, and then I'm gonna do a comeback.
That's good. And
And
you had like I see like they had awards like the web series won some awards
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, that's amazing.
The web series was really good to me because it got me to go to like I won awards in Italy, in Rome. There was a Rome Web
Wow.
Series Awards. I won awards in LA, the LA Web Fest, which is
Yeah.
probably the biggest web series festival in the world.
Yeah.
I my stuff was screened in France and South Korea.
That's amazing.
I won an award in South Korea.
Yeah.
Then and it got me. I wrote the comic book that was based on
I
the
remember that. I
on the
remember that.
relationship. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
and that's how I met you guys and everything. And then
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I met you
yeah,
through Roman
and
Suarez
we
was
would
having
go.
he was doing some comedy and he was kind of he knew you and he
Yes,
showed that up and I was like, "Holy cow, who's this?" And then we met and yeah, that was really cool. That was I remember
yeah, and then I got
you
to
ended up going to Baltimore with us. Remember we went to Baltimore to the
yes,
Comic Con in Baltimore. We had a table there. You were dressed
mhm,
as Justice Woman. It was great. It was fun.
yeah. It was so much fun, and I got to go. And and also another thing that started happening was I got to speak on panels at the San Diego Comic Con, at the New
Yeah.
York Comic Con.
Right.
I mean, these are the two world's largest Comic
Yes.
Cons.
Yes,
And
definitely.
here I was, and I'm like, wow, people really, the packed rooms where you're like, wow, people really do want to hear our stories. People are hungry
Mhm.
for diverse people's heroes.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and it took it. I mean, look, we're still struggling. Like now they're saying that Superman's the African American actor. I can't right now his name escapes me.
Yeah, I heard about that. I think
So
were they talking to Michael B. Jordan about playing him or something?
yes,
Yes.
exactly. Michael B.
Yes.
Jordan.
I heard about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I
So
heard
I'm
about
like,
that.
okay, it's taken this long to start thinking about diversity. You know, it's in these heroes.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I've always said it. You know, the media, the people who control the media, which in this case is, you know, about entertainment is Hollywood and all the executives and everything. They're the ones that dictate how your group or your ethnic and racial group are going to be viewed and seen by the rest of it. It's almost like everything was being made to be safe for the white viewer, what's acceptable to white people, and that was pissing us all off.
Right.
Now they're catching on that there's still a lot of, you know, and I think there's still a lot that there's more that they could do.
Yeah.
But I think that all of that, the lack of media representation, the lack of seeing role models or seeing people that you can look up to for any kid, for anybody that can look up to that is different from them, that intolerance,
Right.
that whole environment breeds, is exactly what brought us Trump
Mm.
and what brought us to this day and age where right now we have people who are intolerant and racist and bigots, and many times it's because of ignorance, and they hold on to these stereotypes that the media has put out of who we are as people.
Yeah, no, and that's why,
And
like, with a character like yours, for example, you know, like Justice Woman, little girls can look up to you and say, "Wow, look at her. She, you know, lawyer by day, you know, vigilante," and it's like and it's right. It's like you said, it's about the empowerment that your mom, you know, instilled in you and said, you know
yeah,
what, I'm gonna make mom proud. I'm gonna put this out and do, you know, and do that. And actually, that's gonna lead me to your music, but I also wanted to talk about the play that you had in New York.
okay.
Yes, you had that. You had a
You went
play.
to
Yes, yes. I
yeah.
went with Jonathan. We went. What was it? Was the complications of what was it? It was
The implications of cohabitation.
Yes, that's what it. And it was
So that
funny.
play, I love that play. I want to revive that play. I'm
You
going to
should.
do it.
You
You
should.
know, and it's about that. You know, it's about an Ecuadorian father
Hmm.
who wasn't perfect.
Right.
Who's trying to reacquaint himself with his Americanized kids and his other child, his middle child, who's kind of like the bastard kid, because
Hmm.
he had an affair. And
Right.
all of this comes out and all these things, but it's funny, you know.
It
It
is.
talks about it talks about a subject that not a lot of people at the time, you know, talked about, which was like there are men out there who have lead double life and have two families
Right.
and, and go about their business
Yeah.
like
Like it's nothing.
nothing,
Yeah. Like
you
it's
know.
nothing. Right. 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 Yeah.
And it's so funny that so many people would come up to me and be like, you know, my father did that.
Oh
It's like,
wow.
wow.
Yeah.
You see how it's more common than people think.
Absolutely. How did you come up with
But
the
one,
idea?
oh my God. So the thing is, I have written the script I have written a whole bunch of like one act plays
Hmm.
with my theater group
Yeah.
back in the day. And so then I started to realize, well, I'm like, wait a minute, these people can be a family. All these different characters, and what if I create something, make it bigger? Because
Oh.
I wanted to get out of doing the one act, 10-minute play and do something more longer. And that's when I started doing all these connections and everything, and I was just like, wow. And at first I made it like an American, like just a straight up not Latino family, just
Yeah.
because I was like, again, I was buying into that whole theory of like,
Well, yeah. That
you know, you gotta,
will
your
anybody
consumers are gonna be.
yeah, will anybody watch it if they're
Will anybody
Hispanic?
come?
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, it's theater. It's theater. Like, who are the people that go to theater?
Right.
It's definitely not Latinos. It's definitely not African Americans. It's definitely not people of color. It's all a lot of white folks. So
Mhm.
I was thinking about them. It just didn't click. It didn't feel right to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna think about my culture. I'm gonna think about, you know, even though I don't know this Ecuadorian man that does this, but I do know people who have had these experiences.
Mhm.
I have not, you know, I do, but I do relate to the fact of, you know, as a child not having that connection with your father and
Right.
how that kind
Right.
of affects you throughout your life.
Mhm.
and makes you kind of paranoid and a bit and feel abandoned.
Right.
So that was definitely a theme that I related to in the play. But funny enough, when I went and I purposely did the play at Theater Row, which is on 42nd Street.
Yes. Yes.
I could have done it in other, what quote unquote Latino theaters like Intar, La Bea, or
Well, you could have gone to
Repertorio
Spanish
Español.
Harlem or something, right?
Yeah, but I was like, you know what? I want to take this and tell our story because we are the new Americans. I mean, whether you like it or not, we're here, and we're part of this fabric, and we have to start showing our stories and becoming. How else are we going to become mainstream, and we're going to stop being treated as the other?
Right.
So I purposely was like, I want Theater Row. We got Theater Row, did it there. I had a session with critics and everything, the press, like a Q&A, talk back, all of that stuff. It was all good.
Nice.
And I had two critics say, one of them was kind of a little more like shy about coming out really and saying what he wanted to say.
Right.
But this other lady was not shy about it. She was like, why did you choose to make your play here in Theater Row? And I was like, because it's a nice venue. I like it. She's like, yeah, but this isn't the right venue. I mean, you know, your theater is not for Americans. I mean, your play is not for Americans.
Wow, she said that?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And you know that that's not true. And you saw the play.
Right, yeah, no, absolutely.
And I was like, what? So she's like, yeah, I don't understand. And she couldn't relate to a lot of things. And she just felt like, I was like, oh my God, this woman was completely. And again, I was at the point, and of course you have to shut them out because you don't know what this lady's going to write in her critique of you and your play. So I was like,
Right.
oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, right,
You know?
exactly.
Meanwhile, inside I'm like, oh my God, lady, it's 2016. We're hearing this talk about us not being American. And
Right.
it's really dangerous.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it all came down. And now we're in the situation that we're in. But it's those things. It's interesting. It's the theater goes that you would think that are the most liberal,
Right.
and especially in their way of thinking and everything and more accepted. And usually the ones that have not really confronted their racism and their bigotry,
Right.
because they don't think it exists. They're the type that say, "Well, I have a friend who's that, so that doesn't make me that. I can't. I'm just not racist." Or I voted for. It's like I voted for Obama syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're definitely racist. Like, kind of, it's worse what you're doing because you're obviously not even confronting your issues and wanting to see it. So at least, you know, you got crazy Trump and all these other people, and you know what's coming your way.
Yeah, no, I mean, but and that you should totally bring the play back. Like, you should definitely just do a revival of it.
Yeah, I'm going to do a revival of it. And you know what? And right now also another thing that I'm doing is I'm writing a version of Justice Woman in a musical format.
Oh, wow.
So I'm kind of combining what's comic books and the series and kind of creating something. It's going to be like a new world.
Yeah.
But it's going to be more current to what's happening now in our world. And it's going to have music now because I write. I write lyrics. I write.
I know. So your music. So and that's what I was going to. You have a title. There's a song called "Soy Mujer," right? And yeah. And that was that one of your first singles?
That was one of my first single was "Owner of My Heart," which was it's like a English Spanish. It's a bilingual song, which is really cute. But "Soy Mujer" is the title of my first album, it's also the main song of my first album.
Right.
And the reason, again, it was all that, you know, being fed up with bigotry and everything. That kind of threw me over to the side of going all Latin.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because your new album is all Latin?
It's all Latin. So it's all Latin, and it's reggaeton fusions and Latin trap fusions. And I've got some merengue. It was everything that I grew up with.
Yeah.
From. And I was like, you know what? I need I need to stop trying to fit in and cater to a society, trying to fit in with a society that sees me as the other, and just cater to my people and sing
Right.
to them in Spanish and do the stuff, in Spanish and with the music that everybody speaks, and that the world loves
Yeah.
because they love our music, they
I
love our
know.
culture, they
I,
love
I saw
everything
you,
else.
you were like in Guayaquil. You went to Ecuador, right, to do a lot of the
Yeah,
filming of the albums and stuff like that, of the songs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
That's
no, no.
amazing.
And that song, "Soy Mujer," for me again, it's just this woman. I can't shake off my alter ego. My
Right.
alter ego. It's a female empowerment song. It's
Hmm.
about I am a woman,
Hmm.
and I am the owner of myself. Wherever I want to go, I'll go. This is my time. I'm not
Right.
going to give you anything of mine. Because I'm a woman.
Right.
It's that strong. That's what the
Yeah.
chorus says. So I've been fortunate to have it used in campaigns against violence and singing,
Wow.
um, for charities that represent causes for women. So that's been good. It's like I feel like I've become one of those people that I can't make art. I can't do something if I'm not trying to empower or uplift
Right.
someone from my community. It's like it's for me. It's like, oh,
That's beautiful.
now I
And you
find
know
that
what?
like,
And you're representing for Ecuador, because I'll be honest with you, I'm Ecuadorian too, and like we barely
yeah,
have
I
any
know.
representation. Like we don't.
Yeah, I need them.
Like
That's
Nyanya,
so
you gotta
true.
represent
That's
Nyanya, like,
so
and you are. And listen, I love you for that because that's amazing, and you got to keep doing it. Like you definitely got to keep doing the music, bring
I
back
know
the
because I
play,
don't know.
Justice Woman, all that.
Yeah,
You got to do
you know
all
what?
of
I'm
that.
pretty sure that it's happened to you also that you grew up around. Where'd you grow up in the Bronx
No, I
or
grew
in
up. Well, I grew up in Yonkers, in Westchester, right
in
next.
Yonkers?
Not yeah,
That's the same thing.
Little
It's
Bronx. I
not
grew
like
up in the Little Bronx. Basically, I grew up.
it's not like you grew up in Jackson Heights,
No, no,
where you saw all these Ecuadorians. You grew
no.
up like me in these neighborhoods where people were
Yes.
like, Ecuador, where the hell's that?
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I grew up
And when
around.
you
I
go
grew
with
up around Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. So I was either a
yeah,
Mira or I was a Mexican. Like I was like, nah, man, I'm from Ecuador. Like where? Where's
exactly,
that? Like I wasn't even from Colombia. Like I could be like, I'm from Ecuador, bro. And they were like, who? It was just crazy.
exactly.
But that's why you gotta,
So
we
now,
have to represent for the people of Ecuador. Is what we have to do.
right, right. That should be amazing. There's like 2 million
Hmm.
Ecuadorians
Hmm.
in the tri-state area,
That's
which
amazing.
I didn't. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
there's a lot of us.
yeah. That's
A
news to
lot of
me. I
us
didn't
are
even know.
incognito doing things.
Yeah, on the low.
hmm But
Oh
it's
my
good. Well,
God.
yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, Vanessa, we have to have you back on the show when we have a little more time for you because we just ran out of
Cool,
time.
cool, cool.
But thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you saying yes and coming out here. People have to
Thank
check out your
you.
music. They have to check out your books. Where can they check all this stuff out?
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to my website, VanessaVerduga.com, where you'll see all the links to there's justicewoman.com. There's to my music also. There's I got a
Yeah.
YouTube channel, a Vivo channel. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Pandora.
There you
I'm
go.
all over the internet.
Blowing
But
up.
yeah, and yeah, and you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook
Yes.
at Vanessa Verduga Official.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, Vanessa. And listen, we'll definitely catch up.
Thank you.
We'll do something
All
outside
right,
of the
Ñañito.
show and and just do it up.
That's right. Yeah, no, definitely. I look forward to seeing you.
All
Haven't
right,
seen you in a
great.
while.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. Take care. Ñañita, I'll talk to you.
Yeah, yeah. Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.
Bye.
There is no better way to start the day than with a cup of joe and an episode of Catch Da Craze.
I'm so crazy. You so crazy. Crazy. Who's the craziest? I'm so crazy. You so crazy. Crazy. Who's the craziest? I'm so crazy. You so crazy. Crazy. Who's the craziest?
Yeah, no, dude, I'm telling you,
That was a great show.
She does. Yeah, you were muted. She's done a lot, man. She's done a lot, and she's very creative and very.
she's
strong.
all over the web.
She's a strong, she's a strong woman, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. You saw that you were running that interview.
Yes, it
with San
seems like
Diego
the month of
Comic-Con.
December is the controversial month because there's a lot of creatives that have a lot of things that they want to voice.
Yeah, man.
It's a lot of passion in
and
there.
we're giving them that voice. And that's what happens when you have a mic.
Yes.
And it's almost like our duty to let them, talk about what they want to talk about.
That's
I mean,
it.
some people may not agree, and
Right.
that's all right too, but it's that's what we're here
That's
for.
what the freedom of speech.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
Freedom of
what
press.
it is, baby. That's
And,
where we live. We live in the U.S. That's what it is.
We
Freedom
give
of
them the
speech.
platform. Let them have at it, and
right.
be true to themselves.
And
And
they're not hurting anybody. I mean,
No.
they're doing their thing. I'm telling you, I went to check out her play with Jonathan. Dude, funny. It was entertaining. I was sitting there. I wasn't even. It didn't even seem like, an off. I don't want to say it didn't seem like an off-Broadway show. It just seemed. It was very professional.
right.
The actors up there were, people who knew what they were doing. Like it was a great experience.
Well, look at. I'm going to check out the series.
check it out.
Yeah, I didn't even know that much about it. But I can see she has several episodes. So I'm going to check that out.
She has a few
It looks
seasons.
pretty cool.
And the seasons are short. They're not like long episodes. But yeah, she's doing her thing. I mean, and she's following her passion, bro.
Yeah, so this was another episode of Catch Da Craze podcast. We want to wish you a merry and happy holidays. Hopefully that you got to spend time with your loved ones and you got that gift you were looking for. You look at our previous segments where we were talking about gift giving. And I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George Medina. Merry Christmas.
And
Happy holidays.
We are out.
Peace.
We're back. I like this hook. You got a book you want to tell us about? Well, let's talk. There's no other place to do it. Only on Catch Da Craze. Catch Da